Welcome to day 70 of Project 365. Today's topic is marriage. I haven't really talked in depth about this. I've talked about how I felt in terms of phrases like "that's so gay," and then earlier this week I had a rant on gay people in general, how sometimes we hurt our own cause. Today I wanted to talk about marriage. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, there is an alternative to marriage called the civil union. This gives you certain legal aspects that a marriage has. However, there are a few things that are denied to civil unions that are granted to marriages. A few of them being, if you're in a civil union, you are not allowed to turn in a tax return with both spouses' names. You have to file separate tax returns, and in some cases, a joint tax return is much cheaper than individual. Also, legally speaking, gay marriages or civil unions don't have the ability to write someone off into, not a will, but, crap, I'm trying to, well, there's a few other legal things. I will put a link in the sidebar that leads you to see what the issue is. Now, legal issues aside, there is a huge thing that bothers me about so many people's campaign for ending gay marriage. That is the moral aspect of it all. And morality in general, really. Why does whether you're homosexual or not have to be on the moral spectrum? Why does it have to be debated whether homosexuality is moral or immoral? That implies that it's a choice. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm a victim of circumstance, that I was born into this. Because, obviously, people have made the change and denied who they really are. But I will say this. You don't go in saying, you know what, I'm gonna like a guy, I'm gonna like cock, and I'm gonna be happy knowing that for the rest of my life I'm gonna be considered a second-class citizen. It doesn't work like that. I choose to be gay, yes, but I do not choose to willingly put myself into the situation where I'm going to be treated as a second-class citizen for the rest of my life, to where I'm treated less than nothing. It's so much more than that. But, really, back to the point, why does homosexuality have to be on this moral spectrum in the first place? We don't argue whether heterosexuality is right or wrong, so why should homosexuality be on that list? Really, it makes no sense. And the fact that religious nuts are claiming the right to marriage for their own selves and denying a whole people just because a book says it's wrong is completely ridiculous. I mean, it's really holding true that common sense isn't that common. Why deny people their rights because you feel that your God says so? Does he not also say to love everyone? Does he not say to help thy neighbor? There are people who ruin the sanctity of marriage within the heterosexual community already. Look at the celebrities like Britney Spears and Lindsay Lohan and stuff like that, who are getting married every other day. Does that not defeat your sanctity of marriage? What about people who get married just for money, based purely on a financial aspect? What about them? Don't they destroy your sanctity of marriage? They don't even love each other. So why is it fair that a group of people are systematically oppressed just because you hold this idea of a sanctity of marriage? You know what's funny though? It's been proven that homosexual marriages, on average, last longer than heterosexual ones. You know why? Because they have to prove that they love each other. They love each other, and then they stay together longer. It's a right that is taken for granted, and it's frustrating how so often people ignore that. Why is it fair that two people who don't even love each other can get married, when two people who love each other and want to spend the rest of their lives together and just happen to be of the same sex can't? If you want to talk about morally unjust, there is your definition. But that particular ethics aside, even if marriage, even if you want to talk about the sanctity of marriage, before you even get started with this idea of marriage, marriage long predated religious connotations, and not only that, but in order for you to be considered married, you still have to file the paperwork. If you don't, you're not married. Sure, you're married under the eyes of God, but there is something called the separation of church and state, and therefore a legal marriage will not be counted if you only get married in a church. Now, that line of separation of church and state has been a bit blurred, and if Thomas Jefferson really saw what happened to it, he would be turning over in his grave. But nonetheless, there is that separation, so why so many insist that marriage has to belong to the church, I don't understand. I really don't. Anyway, really, it's not so much that it's just that I can't get married. It's the fact that so many people are trying so hard to make sure that I as a human being am oppressed. That they're trying so hard to systematically reduce a group of people down to nothing, to where they're dirt. Has history not taught us anything? That oppression like this leads to just outrageous acts against humanity? I feel sorry for the day when some alien civilization finds us and see how backwards we really are. There are so many people who fight the good fight to try and get everyone to be treated equally, to try and get everyone to have their fair share. And they get labeled socialists or communists because the rest of the world, the rest of the United States, in this case, doesn't agree with them. They think that two people of the same sex loving each other is some act against humanity, when it isn't. And to those of you who are going to bring in that religious aspect, does it not say in the Bible that we are created in the image of the Lord? It's nice to know that the Lord is a screaming fag and that you hate him too. Whatever. Anyway, question of the day. Pen or pencil? Which do you prefer to write with? Sorry it isn't related to the topic question, but I honestly couldn't think of a... Actually, no, yes I can. Just to spark debate, do you feel gay people should be allowed to be married? Why or why not? Leave a comment below explaining your reasoning, and who knows, I might end up having to respond to people. Oh my god, that would be a change. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.